Here's a common problem that you're going to come across. You have this picture, beautiful flag. It's a certain size. You want to make it a poster, which means that it's going to have to end up being 24 inches wide. And you want to find out, first of all, is this picture going to work and be able to be enlarged up to 24 inches wide? So it's in Adobe Photoshop, and to find out what size this is, you're going to go up to the image menu and you're going to go to image size, and you're going to bring up the image size dialog box. You can see some information right here. It's telling you how many pixels there are, but since we're going to be printing this, let's see if we can figure out how many inches it is. So I'm going to change this from pixels to inches, and it shows me that this has a width of 13.25 inches, which is not a bad size, but it is not 24 inches. Now, the problem is, if you take a look a little bit further down, you're going to see that it has a resolution of 72 pixels per inch. So even at this size, 13.25, with a resolution of 72 pixels per inch, this file, there's no way you're going to be able to use this in that poster. It's way too small. I would not be able to take this resolution up to 300 pixels per inch and increase the size of this to 24 without literally destroying the picture. So, what do you do? Well, one thing that you could do is you could go and try to find yourself a bigger picture, see whether you could find this picture in a larger size, something that's 24 inches with 300 pixels per inch. But what do you do if that's not possible? Well, you're limited in what you can do. If you are in Creative Cloud, you have obviously other Adobe programs, and maybe the answer lies in another program. So I'm going to cancel this for a second, and I'm going to bring this down, and now I'm in Adobe Illustrator. So you're saying to yourself, Adobe Illustrator, you got to be kidding. What can we do in here? Am I going to draw this thing? Yeah, that's what you're going to do. You're going to draw this thing, essentially, but not the way you think. You have up here in the object menu, you have image trace. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this image and see whether there's any way that we could image trace this into a usable form. So remember now, we're going to make this a poster. It's going to end up being 24 inches wide, so it would actually have to be a little bit bigger than 24 inches. But if this works out, that shouldn't be a problem because we'll be working with vector art, and you could make this any size that you want as often as you want. All right, so just so that you understand what I did here, I took this bitmap, which is the exact same bitmap that I had in Adobe Photoshop, and I opened it in Illustrator. So when I select it, you can see there's your anchor point and your line segment around this image. It's a bitmap. That's really all it is. It's a JPEG. All right. So what I'm going to do is I don't need to do very much with this. This all happens in one little area. So with it selected, I'm going to go up to the object menu and I'm going to apply image trace. Make. That's how you do it. Object, image trace, make with the object selected. And I'm going to click and let go, and this is what I get. So not too impressive, and obviously nothing that we're going to be able to use in our project, but we're not through yet. As long as this thing is selected, we have some choices up here that we can deal with. First of all, we have presets, and then we have this little panel. Let's start off very quickly by taking a look at what these presets do. You have a drop down, and there are a number of different settings here. So what I'm going to do is, it's a red, white, and blue flag. So let's see if we try a three-color presentation of this, what it would look like. So let's choose three-color for now, and we get this. Well, that's not exactly what I expected at all. So obviously three-color isn't going to work. So let's try another preset. Let's come in here and let's try say 6 colors. See what we get with 6 colors. Okay, so now we're heading in a nice direction, and you know something, to be honest with you, with a little bit of modification in Illustrator, this actually could be a very nice graphic solution. So you might keep that in mind, that by using limited colors like this, you could convert this into a very, very appealing looking graphic visual. That's one way to look at this. But this isn't what I really wanted to do. What I really wanted to do is I wanted to see if I could make that picture look really pretty much like that picture. So let's see, is there any other way we could do it? Let's go back up into the presets one more time, and let's try 16 colors and see whether 16 colors helps us out at all. So I click on 16 colors and it processes. Okay, so now you see we're also heading in a very nice direction. This is beginning to look really good. I don't, however, like all this banding that occurs. I just don't like that. That's not the look I'm going for. So I guess really what it comes down to is I'm not going to be able to get from the presets what I'm looking for. In that case, what you do is you come over here and you have this image trace panel. Now the image trace panel is actually where you could come in and you could work on your tracing settings and come up with something which is really appropriate, hopefully. Basically what you have here, if you look, you have all your presets here again, which we're not going to use. We've already tried them and we failed with them, so we're going to leave that alone. Now tracing result basically gives you ways of looking at your trace and what you're doing. I generally just leave it set to tracing result. Why? Because I'm interested in seeing what this thing is going to look like when I actually do it. The next thing we look at here is the mode. We have color, grayscale, and black and white. Well, in this particular case, obviously, we're going to be working with color, but if you wanted this to go grayscale, then we would switch it to grayscale. If you want to make this a straight black and white thing, then we would go black and white. Here we're staying with color. That's essentially what that does. Palette. We have automatic, limited, full tone, and we have the document library. Automatic, full, limited is what it is right now. If I click on full tone, it's going to change some of these settings down here. So let's try that and see what we get. I'm going to click on full tone. Notice that right away, this thing processes, and we're very close to what we're looking for. But notice what happened here. The colors, which if we go back to limited, they were 30. Watch, it'll process. They were 30. When I switch it over to full tone, boom, it throws it all the way over to 100% color. So now you're getting all those colors, okay, 100%. Now, we have some advanced settings. If you open yours up and you see it looking like this, you need to click on this right here to bring it down. And now you can see your advanced settings. We have paths, corners, and noise. I actually went in and experimented with this a little bit. And I found that my best result would be if I took my paths and I made my path settings all the way up to 100%. Now watch, it'll process. And it'll get a little bit cleaner, not a heck of a lot cleaner. The corners, I set the corners all the way down to 0. I don't think it helps too much, but I tried that. And I got something like that, which again, you don't see much of a change on it. And then the noise, I set the noise down to 1. And I get this, which actually isn't too bad. Now, is it perfect? No. Is it as clean and sharp as the other? No. But if you are working in a situation like this, and you have this situation, you need to get yourself a piece of art that you could make 24 inches, this is what you're going to have to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close this panel because this is about the best I can get out of this. I'm going to go to the object menu. I'm going to go to image trace. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to select this. It got deselected. Object, image trace, make, or I'm sorry, expand. And you get that, which you're like, whoa, yeah, okay. But that's what's happening. It's literally going in there and it's creating all of these objects. All right. So now, why don't we do this? Why don't we experiment with making this thing bigger and see what happens? So to do that, I'm going to come over to my, or actually, what I think I'm going to do first is I'm going to come over here, select this whole thing, and I'm going to come in and scale it up. This is 13 inches. It was 13 inches. So I set it to 190 here. The bottom line is I am going to use 190. It will not be exactly 24. I'd have to measure it properly to make it 24, but it'll be close enough to 24 inches that it'll prove my point. So I'm going to make this thing 190% bigger than it is. We could never do this in Photoshop with that image and get a result. So let me hit OK, and boom. Now if I deselect this thing, you can see that it's pretty sharp. It hasn't changed that much. Now if I go view zoom out, I'm going to see my entire image. Now there's my little artboard right there, and my little artboard is nowhere near 24 inches wide, so we need to adjust the artboard. I use the artboard tool to do that. I come in here very carefully, and I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to bring that over to there, and I'm going to click on this point of the artboard and drag it all the way over to there. So now it's about 24 inches, and I'm going to take that thing. Oops, I blew that one. Let's grab it better. I got to grab it right on the money. There we go. Drag that all the way up to the top, and then drag this all the way down to the bottom. It's a little hard to get sometimes. There. Okay, so now I have this artboard, and this image size is close to 24 inches. It does look a little funny like this, but when it finally renders out, you'll see it looks actually pretty good. Now again, you're going to have to live with a little bit of banding on this, but unfortunately, that's the trade-off that you get in order to get this image to do what you want it to do. Alright, so now that I have this done, it's very easy to do, really. Go to the File menu, I'm going to go Export, and I've already exported it one time, it's sitting right there. Waving America Trace, I'm going to export it as a JPEG. There are a bunch of different choices that you can use in here. You could also export this as an SVG, which is a scalable vector graphic, and that would make that also scalable. But for our purposes, I'm just going to do a JPEG, and I'm going to hit Export. And I get this color mode RGB CMYK. I'm going to change it to CMYK because we're going to be printing this. The quality. I'm going to let the quality go to maximum on this. And I'm going to make sure that the resolution is set to 300 pixels per inch because, see, that was our goal. Our goal was to get this to be, in CMYK, 24 inches at 300 pixels per inch. So I can set all that right here. And I'm going to create a JPEG now. And I'm going to hit OK. And I just created that JPEG. So now all I need to do to take a look at this is to come into my, where did I put it here? Made in America, my flag, and it's a Waving America Trace JPEG file. Here we go. And I'm going to double click to open it. There you go. That's it open. Now, of course, it's not going to open up to full size, but it's going to open up to the size that this little application will open it to. But that is, in fact, 24 inches big. And you can see that it's a pretty good representation of that American flag. And like I say, if you're in the situation where you have a picture, you can't really get that picture to size properly. Now, it's not going to work for every picture. This particular picture it works for because it has a limited palette. It's not like fine infinite detail. It's limited in its palette, so it will work on this. I would just say to give it a try and see if it will work for you.